Go.
Oh, someone's on. Derek Riddle. All right, 7:30. You ready?
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk is Cheap. I'm your host, Zach Cooper. This is my co-host, Brent Johansson. We're going to go over the questions you guys asked and make our predictions for Week 9. So, first question from Connor. He wants to know, do the Colts make it through the next 4 weeks? They got the Ravens, Titans, Packers, and Titans. The Colts look pretty good, man. I would just say my only question is Phillip Rivers. That's a brutal stretch of games, but not an unwinnable stretch of games. We've seen the Titans look vulnerable. We've seen the Packers look vulnerable. We've seen the Ravens look really vulnerable. So I would say they're all winnable games. It just depends on what Colts offense shows up. You know their defense is going to show up. I don't think they're going to win all those games. Personally, I predict probably a split with the Titans, and I could see them beating the Ravens. I don't think they'll beat the Packers. I don't think their offense is good enough to beat the Packers. But I think you could go out and be 2-2 through that stretch, and I think you're sitting good if you're 2-2 because you guys 5-2 now. So they're 6-2. They're 5-2, right? 'Cause they've had their bye week, yeah. So you'd be sitting at 7-4. That looks good. I mean, I'd be okay. I'd be okay if you were a Colts fan being 2-2 through that stretch. What do you think?
I think your toughest tasks are going to be the Packers. The Packers have shown vulnerability, but it's mostly been when they're missing their players. They're starting to get healthy now. Aaron Rodgers is a dangerous man, so you can't ever overlook the Packers. The Ravens, they do not look like the Ravens that they were last year, but that team is still very dangerous. I think the Colts defense matches up really well against the Ravens offense, but I don't think the Colts offense matches up very well against the Ravens defense. There's a lot of speed on that defense. Not a whole lot of speed on the Colts offense. They get a lot of their points by slowly driving down the field. The Titans, you don't know what Titans team is going to show up. If it's the team that showed up against Cincinnati, then you could sweep them. I don't really see a sweep happening because divisional games are really hard in divisions to sweep your opponent. So I would have the Colts going probably 1-3 down that stretch. The AFC South isn't very good, so it's really just a two-team race between the Colts and the Titans, and I think the Colts are arguably the better team between those two. So the Colts are probably going to be good even if they don't really have that good of a stretch the next 4 games.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we're going to answer a question that was supposed to be answered last week. For this week, okay. I forgot because he DM'd it to me instead of putting it on there, so I forgot. So he said, hey, I missed the show this week, but for next week, Stephen A. Smith argues Baker is done and not the man when Sam Darnold is being benched, so why so much hate on Baker? I'm going to skip that part because that's wishing to shoot somebody. Darnold, I believe, without a doubt... hang on. Baker showed me more promise than Darnold, I believe, without a doubt. So what's your guys' take on that?
I think Baker takes a lot of heat because Baker comes in with that ego, and he doesn't just display the ego on the field, he displays it outside of the field. Look at all of his commercials that he does. Look at his little Hulu things. Look at how he talks in press conferences. He acts like he's the hottest shit in the room, and you can act that way if you want, but if you don't put the results on the field, people are going to criticize you. Where Darnold doesn't talk. He hasn't really had that great of a season this year. I blame that more on a different person that I won't mention.
We talk about it every week.
But I don't think Darnold's a bad quarterback. Darnold has made some like crazy good throws that haven't seen too many quarterbacks make. But I think the reason why Baker takes the heat more than Darnold is because Baker makes you want to hate him the way that he talks. And you don't really get that with Darnold. Darnold is that quiet guy, goes in, puts his head down, and goes to work. That's probably why you see a lot of negatives about Baker, not so much about Darnold.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Guys like Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd and stuff are going to hate on Baker because Baker talks. And then when you don't perform when you talk, it's not a good look because everyone has your name's been in the news all over the place and they're expecting you to show up now. When you're quieter, people are more lenient on you because you're not running your mouth all the time, so they're not expecting you to be lights out every week.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pretty much agree with almost everything that Brent said. And I don't think Baker's a bad quarterback, don't get me wrong, but when he has bad games, he's going to take a lot of heat for it. That's just how it's going to be. That'll stop once he can take the next step if he takes a step to the elite level, it'll stop from anybody that's not like a division rival. So until he gets to that elite level, his talking's just going to get him hated on, and that's it. And Darnold, I mean, people also know Darnold's got nothing to work with the Jets too, so that also helps. Where Baker's got a team that looks like they should be 13-3.
Right.
So I 100% agree. I don't have anything else to add to what Brent said. So you want to take the next one?
Yeah. Let me pull it up. Okay. Will Lawrence go back to college even though the Jets pick first? I don't know. Would like your opinion if he'd risk all that money and also risk getting injured. That's a really good question because if you look at it from like a personal standpoint, would you want to turn down a year of millions of dollars? It's a tough question to ask, but I think that there's a legitimate chance with how bad the Jets really are and how cancerous and toxic Adam Gase is that Trevor Lawrence could just say, hey, I'm going to go play my senior year at Clemson. And he knows that he's got a good program there. He's probably going to get a championship, build his resume, and then another bad team will get him the year after.
Or at least to compete for a championship.
Yeah. I think the smart move for Trevor Lawrence would be to not come into the draft if the Jets are going to be picking number 1 overall. If Adam Gase is still there. If Adam Gase gets fired, which it doesn't look by any means that he's even on the hot seat.
Which is ridiculous.
Which is insane. If Adam Gase is gone, then as Trevor Lawrence, I would take that risk because there are growing pieces on the New York Jets that he could work with. But Adam Gase will just ruin his entire career.
Derek, you say yes. I'm going to agree with both you and Brent. I do think he should sit and play his senior year at Clemson. I wouldn't. The Jets are going to get it. I don't know if you guys seen their schedule. They're not winning a game. So here's the hard part. Is like a lot of people think athletes are selfish when they do this, right? Okay, so and normally I would agree with you. I didn't like when Eli Manning did it, but here's the difference between the way that Eli did it. And I have all the respect in the world for Eli Manning, but I just didn't like what he did when he came out of college. He went into the draft, then refused to play for the team that went number 1, right? The difference between this and Trevor Lawrence was he has the right to stay at school another year, right? So he should not be judged the same way Eli did because he literally has the chance to stay and finish his education. Where if you know any background on Trevor Lawrence, he's extremely intelligent, so it's a very viable excuse he could use. In case there's what if he gets career-ending injury his rookie year, and now he's got an education to fall back on, so he's not broke.
Or just life after football. It's just
exactly where a lot of these people take off from college and never finish college, and then if an injury happens or they're out of the league in 2 years, they blow all their money, and then they're working at a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
So with a guy with the intelligence like Trevor Lawrence, you could easily stay at your senior year and hope the Jets win 2 or 3 games next year, and you can go to a team like Washington or the Giants, who are not great, but they have building pieces around them, unlike the Jets, who have like almost nobody and a really inept coach who traded away your only good talent for nothing. I wouldn't do it if I was him. And yes, I know there are people I've talked to who disagree with me, like Martin and stuff like that. My friend, we talked about it, and he thinks that if you get a chance to do this, you should do it. And I understand that thinking, but in my opinion, I wouldn't want to jeopardize my career for a team that doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. Because if you don't perform, you get what's happening to Darnold, where people think that you're not that good and all that, when Darnold's really just been a lack of coaching and lack of pieces around him. And it could ruin his career. It could wind up a backup after he leaves the Jets for the rest of his career instead of being a superstar that's making millions and millions of dollars every year. So this is differences between hundreds of millions of dollars you're making. And no matter who you get picked by number 1, they're going to suck. But there's a difference between
the
suck
Jets
levels and like the football team or the Giants. Like I'd much rather go to the Giants or the football team over the Jets based on what's going on there right now. Not that either of the teams are good, but
they're at least heading in the right direction.
They're at least trying to build something where the Jets are like, they have no idea what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
That's just my view on it. So Can the Colts slow down Jackson, Dobbins, and Edwards? Yes. Yeah, they can. That defense, I think, has the ability to slow down anybody. And it's not like Baltimore's offense is like blowing people away this year. They're definitely not as good as they were last year. They did rush for 250 some yards last week, though, against the best defense in the league coming in the last week. But that's because I think the Colts are back to number 1 now after their bye week, so they're right there. But the thing is, they couldn't pass for anything, so it's like they're good at one thing, bad at the other. It just depends on the week. I'm not saying they will, but I really think they have a good shot at upsetting Baltimore. It just really depends on what Baltimore comes. I don't know. Hollywood Brown called out Lamar on Twitter and then deleted it real quick last week. So things aren't looking good in Baltimore. Will it fire him up or will it cause distress? That's the type of things that you have to look for in a team. I think a Harbaugh coach team is going to stay in the game. Like, I really think that it's not going to allow the team to implode. I think he'll probably pull Hollywood to the side and talk to him about how he can incorporate him in the offense more and try to make him happy. But to be fairly honest with you, a second-year receiver like Hollywood Brown has no right to be calling out his quarterback.
No.
Like, dude, you literally can only run street patterns, and your hands are very suspect. So, like, part of this on you. So... I'm not trying to defend Lamar. I think Lamar's got work to do as a pocket passer. I think everybody knows that. But I just don't think it's the right way to do it. You're too young. You're not a veteran. You're not supposed to be calling out your QBs like that. But Colts can win. I don't necessarily think they will necessarily. I'll tell you my pick later. But that defense can stop anybody. It all rests on Phillip Rivers' shoulders. So.
Yeah. I think the Colts defense has the ability to. They have a lot of physical players on that team. Darius Leonard is the most underrated linebacker in all of football. I don't understand how he's not talked about as one of the top 5 in the league. That is a tackling machine. He's going to be able to read if Lamar has the ball. He's not going to bite on it.
Tackling few.
Their defense just... Their defense matches up so well against what Baltimore tries to do. But I don't necessarily believe the Colts are going to win that game. We'll cover that later. But they can stop Lamar on the ground. Not so much if Lamar decides that he can actually throw the ball this game. Not so sure that the Colts can slow that down as much.
Next question.
Do the Bears have the toughest stretch of games in the league? Okay, so we're looking here. You got Tennessee versus Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit. No.
Schedule doesn't even look that hard, dude.
No, you have like 4 tough games in that schedule for your remaining schedule. For like the Bears, I have the Bears here. They probably lose to Tennessee. I'd say that they can beat Minnesota. They match up very well with Minnesota, historically speaking. They get in that bye week. They'll probably lose to Green Bay. They'll beat Detroit, beat Houston. They'll probably lose at Minnesota, beat Jacksonville, lose to Green Bay. Yeah, that you have 500 in there. That's a very winnable schedule minus the divisional games. No, I don't think the Bears have the hardest games remaining left on the schedule. I can think unbiasedly, besides the Eagles' divisional opponents, every single player or every other team that they face are above 500 right now. I don't think the Bears can say that. There's a lot of teams that, if you play in the NFC West, I would say that you have a harder schedule than the Bears.
I think any team left in the NFC West got a harder schedule.
Yeah, because you face all those division opponents a lot. So, no, the Bears, in my opinion, do not have the hardest stretch. It's a very winnable schedule.
I'm pretty sure the Falcons are going to play the Saints and the Bucks twice still. So, I'm just saying, like, when I opened the schedule earlier today to look at this question, I expected this to be brutal. Like, right? I opened it up and I'm all like, okay, like, I get the Lions are decent, the Packers are good, the Vikings are better than the record, the Titans are decent, but, like, these are all just, like, decent, like, matchups. I'm not saying the schedule's, like, super easy, but, like, it's definitely not, like, super difficult. I would say the beginning of their season was harder than their season is right now from the future. You had Tampa Bay, Indy, Detroit, the Rams, and the Saints. Like, I think the beginning of your schedule is harder than the end of your schedule was. But, yeah, so no, I don't think so. I know Tyler, you just wanted to ask a Bears question, but I could have found better Bears questions to ask.
Why is Nick Foles so good?
Why is Nick Foles so bad? That would
It's the regular season, that's why.
They got to get to the...
Yeah, did you see that?
Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, reportedly among those out for Thursday night. God, that's going to be the COVID game, bro.
Kendrick Bourne is the other one.
Kendrick Bourne, okay. That's going to be the COVID game. All the Packers running backs are out, too. Like, and Aaron Jones is a game-time decision. They're literally going to be running a dude that they just picked up off free agency on.
Hey, hopefully Aaron Jones, because I've had enough of him being a puss. Sit down.
All right, so that wasn't even that tough of a question. I don't think your schedule's easy, but I don't think it's that difficult. So, I'd say it's probably a middle-of-the-pack schedule. When is Jacksonville going to get that second win so I can give them $20? Never. I don't think they play the Jets, so they're not gonna win another game. So I'm off the Jacksonville train after week 1.
Okay, so here's my bold take. Week 17. Do you know who Jacksonville faces week 17? The Indianapolis Colts.
No way they're gonna get both their victories out.
Who did Jacksonville beat in week 1? The Indianapolis Colts. Can they do it again? Probably not, but bold take.
No, because Tennessee,
Jaguars win.
Indy might be in a must-win game at the end of week 17. There's no way they let Jacksonville win them again.
That's the bold take. All right, what do we got here for next question?
Mid-season Super Bowl prediction.
Mid-season Super Bowl prediction. Green Bay Packers versus Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes outduels Aaron Rodgers in San Francisco. Chiefs become repeat Super Bowl champs.
Damn, you're taking the Chiefs?
Yeah, who else would I take?
Seriously? I'm going to tell you who else you should take. Mid-season Super Bowl prediction, Seattle Seahawks and the Vegas Raiders.
You're lying.
Huh?
I said you're lying.
No, you're right, I am lying. I do think Vegas is making the playoffs, though. They're in the right direction.
Yes.
Maybe in 2 years you'll see Vegas in the Super Bowl, but they'll be a playoff team, mark my words. Actual Super Bowl prediction, I have Seattle and Pittsburgh. You still got to talk about Pittsburgh later.
I will.
Pittsburgh's for real. Even when Big Ben plays like shit, they still find ways to win. That's the mark of a solid team. So I think they really got it. It'll be between them and Kansas City. I really can't. I could flip a coin. It'll be one of those two teams, though. Baltimore kind of regressed a little bit. We've seen it.
And they can't win in the playoffs.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's one of the worst playoff quarterbacks. So
I've ever seen.
Until he takes that step, I can't pick them. So
Sheldon, go. Come on.
I do think the playoffs will be a lot more fun this year in the AFC because last year it was pretty obvious it was either going to be Baltimore or Kansas City. Tennessee was kind of a Cinderella story, but there wasn't a lot of competition over there. I think the conference got better. They're not as good as the NFC still, but they got better, so I think overall the game quality will be better. But I still think it's pretty much a Kansas City-Pittsburgh race in the AFC, to be fair. So, yeah, that's my midseason. Who won the trade deadline, and why was it the Titans? Yeah, I gotta admit, usually these are troll questions from Stefan, but the trade deadline was a fucking snooze this year. Okay, so you guys stole King from the Chargers for a 6th-round pick, which absolutely blew my mind. Like, there's no excuse for that for the Chargers. Like, the Chargers, a team who just found their quarterback. You know this is your quarterback of the future. You found him. Why are you selling so cheap? You shouldn't be selling at all, anyways. Yeah, you're not gonna win this year, but you should be buying to win next year. The fact, and then you can't even sell right because you literally you got nothing out of it. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. I don't think Anthony Lynn was behind it, but I want to ask my boy Dylan what the GM of the Chargers is doing over there because he needs to go. Like, he's got to go. Titans won the worst trade deadline in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, I would agree. When you look at, well, I don't know. There was only 2 really good trades that I saw where a really good player moved to a different team. You had King from the Chargers, and you can argue that the Titans won the trade deadline because they got a Pro Bowl cornerback that's young for pennies on the dollar. But I think the winner of the trade deadline is the New Orleans Saints. Because in a division where you have to keep up with Tom Brady, who does not look like he is slowing down, and a suspect defense that is the Saints, with arguably the hole on that team is the linebacker core, you address it with Quan Alexander, who he's already getting paid by San Fran. You gave up an aging Kiko Alonso, who is not a very good player and a very dirty player. You got him off the books. You bring in Quan Alexander, who's young, he's fast, he's good in coverage to try to slow down Tom Brady. The Saints might have made the move that could tilt the division winner in their favor. So I'm going to say that the Saints won that one. But the Titans got an absolute steal. Honorable mention to the Detroit Lions. They got a stud in Everson Griffin. He's not the same player he used to be, but you guys are going to like what you see.
But still a very good pass rusher.
And the Steelers also bolstered their defense with Williamson. That's a great linebacker that was on a very terrible team.
The picture he posted was hilarious, dude. He had that ready, dude.
But I don't really know where Williamson is going to fit in with what the Steelers are doing. He might just be a rotational linebacker. But it was still a great pickup for pennies.
The losers of the trade deadline was the Green Bay Packers not pulling the trade to get Will Fuller.
A 4th-round pick is the best you can offer for Will Fuller.
Yeah, they asked for he's well worth a 2nd-round pick. I don't know how you guys didn't just pull the trigger on that.
You couldn't even meet in the middle for a 3rd? Like, just even offer it to see if they were going to take it? Will Fuller would make the Green Bay Packers the NFC favorite. And you just...
we're pretty damn close, at least arguable.
Yes.
I mean, like right now, like... They have a lot of holes, and one of them is wide receiver outside Devontae Adams. If you added that, it definitely would absolutely really improve their chances of representing the NFC. So I don't know how you guys didn't pull the trigger on that. Your guys' GM is dumb. From what I heard from Packers fans, is their GM's looking to build for Jordan Love's tenure. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I want out, which I think we're going to get to that later, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll discuss that later because this was absolutely insulting to Aaron Rodgers. So,
yes.
We'll get to that.
Next question. Why do the Lions suck? Okay, that's a loaded question because I don't really think that the Lions suck. I tease my friends a lot by saying that, like, oh, yeah, Stafford sucks. Well, I don't like Stafford, but I always...
But you always admit he doesn't suck, though.
Yes. The Lions don't have a bad football program there. They have a lot of decent players. Granted, I don't agree with the philosophy of taking all the ex-Patriots players that are past their prime and just throwing them into your lineup. It does sometimes pan out, like Jamie Collins is playing really good football.
Harmon, too.
Yeah, Harmon's playing pretty good. But then sometimes it doesn't pan out. Like Amendola doesn't look that great. He has flashes in the pan.
He's so inconsistent.
But yeah,
a lot of penalties too. That guy's got an attitude problem.
Yeah. I don't think that the Lions suck, but if you were to make the argument the Lions suck, I think it would have to be still the coaching in the front office. I think that there has to be some kind of change there. I don't think it's going to happen anymore because they have pulled off some wins. They've showed promise. So I think that we might have to have another year of the
Quinn-Trisha?
That Quinn-Trisha experiment.
They got to make the playoffs, that's what they said, though.
Yeah, well...
But I'm telling you, if they beat the Vikings Sunday, that schedule gets really easy. They do have a good shot.
I wonder if they're going to be able to pull the whole COVID season without a training camp, preseason, all that, buy them another year. Hopefully that's not the case because I don't want to see that. I want to see Detroit succeed, but I don't think it's going to happen with the current guys in management there.
So I'm going to go... And I know Quinn and Patricia are the easy people to put the blame on, but Detroit's had the same problem since the 50s. And the problem is the Fords. The Ford family. Okay, they don't care about winning. They don't. They care about money, making money, selling tickets. That's all they care about. And I know this year technically they don't get to sell tickets, but it was not like that was in their plans. That's all they care about. They've had offers to buy the team from people who would probably make this team better. I know there was even rumors that Jeff Bezos had contacted them, and they didn't take it, which I'm sure he could pay way more than anybody else would pay to buy that team. and you didn't take it. Like it's just so like insulting as to Lions fans the way that they operate the team. And then people got all excited because Martha stepped down. I'm just letting you know, just because she doesn't have a Ford last name, the girl who runs it is still part of the Ford family. Mm-hmm. So it's still the same family, and it's never going to get any better until they leave. You might have flashes here or there where they make the playoffs or whatnot, but it's never going to be continuously because they're not disciplined enough with their coaches and stuff. They're worried about making buddies with their GMs, buddies with their head coaches, instead of putting the hammer down and expecting winning results. And that's not how you run a football team. You can't be everybody's best friend. You got to be a dick. Like Jerry Jones has the same problem in Dallas. You know how long he was like, Jason Garrett's my buddy, and now Mike McCarthy's sucking. He's all like, Mike's my guy. Like, what do you mean he's your guy? This is awful. You guys had the most loaded team in football, and you guys suck. Like, so it's always gonna be an owner problem. They got to sell or die. I hate to put it that way, but that's the truth. I don't wish death on nobody, but that's just the only way that they'll get better. I really don't see him selling. So, should Aaron Rodgers request a trade in the near future? Yes. This would have been it for me if I'm Aaron Rodgers. Okay, like you literally just said in an interview the day before the trade deadline, without actually calling them out. You literally did. You said in an interview, I'm not the one to make the calls, but the last time I stomped my foot for a guy, he wound up in Buffalo. Okay? Talking about Stephon Diggs. Okay? Look, that is telling the coaching and the GMs, I want a receiver. That answer right there is literally telling you, I want a receiver, and you don't go get one. He knows he's nobody to throw the ball to. If Davante Adams is double covered the entire game, which I don't know why people don't do more often because I see him single covered so much. But if you double him and take him out, he's just got guys who drop the ball all day. And that's got to be frustrating as a quarterback, especially as an elite quarterback. And then he's expected to carry the team on his shoulders, and people are like, he's only got one ring. Like, I'm the biggest Packers hater there is, but I do not blame having only one ring on Aaron Rodgers. I blame it on the fact they cannot put help around him. Every year they go out and they draft Jordan Love, who they haven't even activated for a game this year. In the first round, they traded up to get him, and didn't even. There were receivers on the board still.
A lot of good ones.
Like, I don't understand. You could have had KJ Hamler. I think
Higgins was on the board.
T. Higgins was there. If you were going to trade up, you could have got Brandon Ayuk before San Francisco got him. But you didn't go do any of that. You just sat back and was like, yeah, we're going to take Aaron Rodgers' successor. Like, that was slap in the face 1. Slap in the face 2 was you didn't take anybody yet in the second round. Slap in the face 3 is not getting anybody at the trade deadline. So you're pretty much just like, look, we're going to build for Jordan Love's tenure. We don't want to give up anybody now because we're going to draft for Jordan Love. Like, that's what you're telling Aaron Rodgers right now. Like, that is so insulting. And I'm not a guy that defends Aaron Rodgers. I think the guy's a dickhead. I think he's a douchebag. But when you're looking at it from his perspective, if I'm him, that's so insulting to me for a guy who's carried this franchise on my back for, what's it been now, 12 years now?
Yeah.
Since 2008, I think, after Brett Favre left. And he's continuously got you guys, unless he gets hurt, they're in the playoffs. Like, and then when he gets hurt, they go down to 5 wins. Like, it's not coincidental. It's just a slap in the face. I mean, I love it as a division rival fan, but if I was a Packers fan, I'd be livid. And I know a lot of Packers fans, and they are not happy.
Yeah. So, if you're not a Packers fan, can you name a wide receiver on the Green Bay Packers that's not Davante Adams? I don't think so. The Packers have a problem with not supplying Aaron Rodgers with the tools needed to do the job. They had no problem giving Brett Favre any wide receiver that he ever wanted. He had Greg Jennings. He had, I can't think of that one, that Donald Driver. Donald Driver was in him.
He was good.
Yeah. They had a crazy amount of talent for Brett Favre's entire Packers tenure.
And Antonio Freeman, too.
Yeah. And then for Aaron Rodgers, like, for instance, okay, so you take Jordan Love in the first round. I get it. Aaron Rodgers is getting up there in age. You want to have a success plan. I get it. But then in the second round, you have T. Higgins, Laviska Shenault, and Denzel Mims. Those are 3 wide receivers that are all producing at an NFL level right now in their rookie year that were from the 2nd round or even the 3rd round. The Green Bay Packers didn't do anything to help Aaron Rodgers out. They took his replacement in the 1st round, and then none of the other picks, besides A.J. Dillon, arguably, but he's a running back, they didn't help him out at all. He's throwing to guys that Carson Wentz wouldn't even want, and that's telling you something.
Then A.J. Dillon was a pick they didn't need because they had Aaron Jones.
And Jamal Williams.
Yeah, that makes it even worse.
and it's not even just the draft; it's the trading. They don't make the moves because they don't value players. They want to get Will Fuller for like a 4th round pick. He's better than that. They have the best wide receiver in the league on their roster, Travis Fulgham, and they cut him. The Eagles sign him. He's producing at a huge Pro Bowl level right now. Look it up.
I mean, he's produced well, but the whole best receiver in the league thing.
He's the best. But he sat on Green Bay's practice squad. They didn't identify that there's any talent there. Look at him now. Imagine what he would be doing with Aaron Rodgers out on a playing field right now. It'd be disgusting. Aaron Rodgers needs to go find a home that he can go win a championship with. Bold prediction. He joins Gruden with the Raiders.
Oh my God, that'd be so deadly.
And competes against Patrick Mahomes twice a year for the AFC West crown.
And Rodgers got a good 6-7 years left still. So
yes,
I mean,
and look at all those weapons that Gruden has given Carr. And Gruden has said that, well, he hasn't said, but he's kind of made it known that Carr is not his guy. And you bring Aaron Rodgers in there, you go bring Vegas a Super Bowl in that brand new stadium. Oh, yeah. Aaron Rodgers could find a home there. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is welcome in Indy. Look, when are you going to realize that the Colts need to just get a young quarterback?
Yeah.
That they can build their team around. Don't stop doing all the old...
Fuck the Packers.
Fuck the Packers! No. Aaron Rodgers would be great in Indy, but he's a Band-Aid. He's not a...
solution. Go get a younger guy.
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys gave him Jacoby Brissett for a guy that's older and just like Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Less mobile.
Yeah, that's insane.
All right. Picks. I'll start out the first game.
Okay.
The COVID game of the week. Green Bay, San Francisco. It was dangerous for me to make the pick I picked because I know San Francisco owns Green Bay. And I mean, when they play, the game's not even close. And they've done it since the Alex Smith days in San Francisco. They've owned Green Bay. With that small stretch where they were really terrible in between Kaepernick and Garoppolo. But besides that little stretch, they've dominated Green Bay. This was a really hard game for me to make this pick, but I think Green Bay is going to win this game. I think San Francisco's got way too many injuries. You know, I know injuries happen to every team, but like every key guy the 49ers have is injured. Okay, like everybody. Like Kittle was their last hope, and there he went down 8 weeks now with a broken foot. That didn't even look like it was broken because he got right up afterwards.
Yeah.
like it didn't even bother him. But I feel so bad for him. But they're going to finish last in that division. It's a shame because they're so talented on it. But there's nothing you can do. That's part of football. That's what happens. And I think the Green Bay is going to smack the shit out of them on Thursday, to be honest with you. So I got the Packers in a game that probably won't be that close.
Yeah. And before we even started week 1, I predicted that the 49ers were not going to make the playoffs. It's looking like it's going to happen. I said that Jimmy G would get hurt. He gets hurt every other year.
Check the tapes. He did. Check the tapes.
And Jimmy G is probably out for the season. You have George Kittle out for the season.
Or at least till the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
if you're in
but
playoff contention.
Why even? If you're not there,
Yeah,
by
if
then
you're not, they
don't,
won't bring him back. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
And it's their amazing running back carousel that they had developed over the past couple of years is in shambles right now. San Fran doesn't stand a chance in this game. Green Bay just lost in a game that not even Coop thought that the Packers were going to lose that game.
Yeah.
And so
That's what I get.
So you got Aaron Rodgers, who just got honestly humiliated by Dalvin Cook. A lot of people were watching that game. They got humiliated in Lambeau. He didn't just get his new favorite target. He's pissed. He's going to start building up some more of that trade tape for next season. Packers win this one in a landslide. Next game of the week is, if my phone will open, Denver at Atlanta. Oh, this one sucked to pick. Because Atlanta, they're terrible. But all of a sudden it's like now that, what is his name? Raheem? No, it's not. Is it?
The coach. Dan Quinn.
No, the coach of the...
Oh, yeah, it's Raheem Morris.
Yeah, Raheem Morris.
I thought you were saying because Dan Quinn got fired. Raheem Morris is the guy.
Yeah, ever since Raheem Morris took over the Falcons look at least somewhat consistent. They're shooting themselves in the foot a lot less, minus a Todd Gurley touchdown.
Yeah, if Todd Gurley doesn't score that touchdown, they're 3-0 with Raheem Morris.
Yeah, and so with all that stability, Matt Ryan looks like he's having fun playing football again. Same with Julio. I'm giving the edge to Denver. Denver had a shocking victory over the Chargers. They did not deserve to win that game, but they won it. I don't know if they won it or if the Chargers found a way to lose, but maybe a little bit of both. But I'm riding the hot hand, and Drew Lock played good football. Drew Lock wins this one in a nail-biter, probably by 2 points.
Yeah, Drew Lock said, "Fuck you, haters," and decided in the second half of that game he was going to show you what it was about. Okay, there was a lot of people who were like, "Is Drew Lock really the real deal?" Because I feel like a lot of football fans are very casual. They don't pay attention to what happens. Drew Lock's team had been dismantled for the year. Okay, but even then, now Drew Lock came out and said, "Listen, okay, I'm about to bring you guys back." This comeback was remarkable, and Drew Lock looked good doing it. I got to take him too. I just think Drew Lock looks like he's now connecting with his receivers, and that comeback win is that confidence. A lot of times they ride off that, right? He's like, I can do it. I can do this. It doesn't matter how many receivers are injured or whatever. I can do this. KJ Hamler finally got incorporated into the offense, and that's good. The second round receiver they drafted there. Atlanta just finds too many ways to blow. Even with Raheem as coach, you've seen them have instances where you're like, oh my God, here we go. Like they almost blew the game to Carolina. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't, they got an interception right at the end, but they looked like they were letting Carolina come right back in that game. They scored against Detroit when they should have just took a knee. The coach, that was a bad coaching decision. I don't even know how you can choose to hand the ball off. You should have just took a knee. It's a chip shot, 23-yard field goal. You can't make that. You need to get closer. Why? Right. There's just too many mistakes still. Yes, they look better under Raheem Morris, but it's still not. They're still not out of the whole. I'm gonna screw myself. Like even the Vikings game, they won that game by a lot, but they just kept letting the Vikings score and score and score, mm-hmm. and no matter what. So it was just like, man, they're lucky that Matt Ryan never gave up, because if he did, they would have lost that game too. So, yeah, I just gotta go with Denver. I think they're better coached. I like the coach in Denver actually. I think he's a very good coach. Raheem Morris obviously is just doing what he was given. So I'm not trying to insult Raheem Morris, but he was kind of handed a shitty plate to begin with. So right. Yeah, I'm gonna take Denver on the road. I really think that they're starting to put things together over there. So watch out for them next year. Okay, Seattle at Buffalo. Man, that's in Buffalo. I'm gonna take Seattle. Buffalo's hasn't looked like the same team, but then again, they still do some things that make me like, okay, this is why they win football games. But they also do things that make me say this is why they haven't won divisions in a long time. So they're very inconsistent. And even last week, they almost got beat by the 2-and-some Patriots, but they still found a way to win. Right? That's a step forward from the Bills where they were before. But you're not facing Cam Newton this week. You're facing Russell Wilson. Okay, so
dangerous.
Yeah, Russell Wilson ain't gonna fumble the ball with 20-some seconds to go. So, good luck. Also, they actually have receivers unlike the Patriots. So, I think that the game will be competitive because Buffalo's got a lot of talent. I do think it'll be competitive. I think Seattle's defense isn't very good, so I think Josh Allen will get a lot of yards and a couple touchdowns. He's got Diggs out there who will probably feast on that secondary. Diggs is second in the league in receiving yards, so they're doing something right. But at the end of the day, Josh Allen can't score with Russell Wilson, and that's where it's going to be. So I think that I'm not even saying it's going to be a one-score game. I think Seattle could pull away late, but it'll be competitive most of the game. But I have Seattle winning this towards the end of the game, somewhere in the fourth quarter. They'll pull ahead.
Yeah. First off, I want to shout out Justin Zimmer.
That's right.
We went to school with Justin Zimmer, and he was the one that peanut punched that fumble out on Cam Newton.
That's right, representing.
So great job. I doubt you'll ever see this, but great job, bud.
Anybody who knows him, share this video to him. I'm not friends with him on Facebook. He's too famous for me now. So
yeah, so that was a really good play. Way to make your mark in the NFL. But like Coop said, the Buffalo Bills are not facing the Patriots that have really nothing there. They're facing Seattle Seahawks that are playing really good football. And no matter what injuries the Seahawks take, they just have another guy just come in and start producing. Look at DJ Dallas. Picked him up on the waiver wire last week. Scored 2 touchdowns.
Then you dropped him.
Yeah. It's called adapting. I honestly think Chris Carson will be back this week, which is going to give a huge lead to Seattle because the Bills, minus that New England game, don't know how to run the football. They've struggled all year long except for when they go against the Patriots. Look for Seattle to win this game, probably 10, 13 points. They're just a better football team than Buffalo is.
Buffalo's heading in the right direction, though. By the way, just Neil, when you watch this, what happened to you talking up Devin Singletary all year last year? Yeah? Where'd that go? That guy doesn't score any touchdowns.
So we got Chicago at Tennessee. All right, so I'm not gonna give Chicago all that credit. Tyler Schmidt, if you're watching this,
don't watch it.
Don't watch it, because we'll hear you talk some smack if the Bears go up by 3 points in the first drive, but then you'll probably be quiet the rest of the game.
He jinxed his team so bad.
Tennessee is the better football team. The Bears have a better defense, but the Bears will not be able to keep up with Tannehill and King Henry. It just is not going to happen. Titans win this game, and I don't think that they're going to look back. They're kind of embarrassed about losing to Joe Burrow the way that they did. Usually when you see a bad Titans performance, they follow up with a really good Titans performance. Sorry, Bears fans. Titans are going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that too. I also have Tennessee in this game. Better quarterback, better running back. Outside of Allen Robinson, their receiving core as a whole is better than the Bears. So everything on offensively is leaning towards Tennessee. The Bears have a better defense, yes, but as you've seen before, the Bears' offense is so bad that their defense can't win them games. Their offense looks very inept. Just sometimes it looks like their offense has no idea what they're doing out there on the field. They do have one of the better rising receivers in the league, though. I think Darnell Mooney is going to be very good.
Yes.
He's just got to get a quarterback first. That's the problem. But once they get somebody who can throw him the ball and they can utilize their weapons that they potentially have, not labeling Mooney as a weapon yet. I'm kind of waiting, but potential's there. They could be really good, but until then, I can't pick Chicago in any games that are against teams that win football games consistently.
Right.
Better, like I said, better quarterback, better running back. Got to go with the Titans. Titans are also at home, so that helps something too. So, yep, Tennessee in this game should be a close one though. Baltimore and Indy. Baltimore doesn't look like the same team. And I've said that. This is the third time I've said that. Lamar Jackson just isn't making good throws. And I know that's not his MO, but a lot of times his running opens up holes. But I think he's getting to that point now where he's 2.5 years into his career now, and people now know how to play against him. So they're not letting his running scare them. While they're still watching it, they're not letting it absolutely petrify them like they were doing before. And now he's being forced to throw into tight windows, and it's not working out as well as it was. So I don't like seeing that out of a quarterback. He's too inconsistent for me. Whereas Indy, they don't need Phillip Rivers to play perfect football. They just need to play turnover-free football, and they can win because that's how good their defense is. So I think as long as this game was really tough for me, but I took the home team because they were at home. That's how tough this game was for me to play. But I think if Phillip Rivers does not turn the ball over, I think that Tennessee defense is good enough against the Ravens and the Ravens' lack of a passing offense to hold them down and win a very, very close down to the wire game here.
So I'm gonna go with the Ravens. It was a really hard decision because the Colts do match up really well on defense against what the Ravens bring to the field, but the Colts don't match up very good against the Ravens defense. The Ravens defense is better than what the Colts offense is. So with the way that Phillip Rivers has been known to turn the ball over, he's been cutting down on his interceptions a lot. I have noticed that, but he's been taking sacks because of it. Taking sacks are huge in the NFL. You don't want to take a sack. You lose down and you lose a bunch of yards in it. I don't think Lamar's going to take too many sacks in this game. I think it's going to be a very defensive battle, but I think that because the way the Ravens outmatch the Colts' defense to offense ratio, the Ravens are going to end up winning this football game. Probably a very close game. Might be some kind of field goal to win the game with Justin Tucker bringing it in. We have Carolina at Kansas City. This one was relatively easy for me. I think Carolina's making a lot of progress in the right direction. Robbie Anderson looks like the real deal as a wide receiver. He's not just a guy that can catch streak patterns. But honestly, you're not making very good, smart football decisions if you're picking against the Chiefs to win most of their games. The Chiefs are a very good football team. They don't lose very many games. So as much as I like what the Panthers are doing, with Christian McCaffrey coming back this week, by the way, I don't think it's necessarily enough to beat the Chiefs in the way they just toy with teams, but I think it'll make the game a lot more interesting. Chiefs win this game, I'd say 10, 12 points.
Yeah. I'm not any further down on Carolina after losing last week's game. I did pick Carolina, but I kind of had a hunch they might lose the game. Those division rivalry games, Atlanta's not, talent-wise, is not as bad as their record. So I'm not really going to blame Carolina for losing that game. Atlanta just finally found a way to not blow it. So
well, they took Teddy out for like 2 drives, so
that didn't help either. But stop hitting quarterbacks when they slide. Stop being dirty, people.
Yeah, don't kick him in the leg first, and then he falls over, and then hit him. Like that was such a dirty play.
It really was. But even with the return of CMC, I think it's going to make Carolina very competitive down the stretch. But I think after this game, they're going to lose to Kansas City and be 3-6. So I think their playoff hopes are about done. They do look like they're going in the right direction, though. So keep an eye on them for the future. But you just can't bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs in very many games. I would say I wouldn't bet against them at all. It's hard to pick against them, though. Mahomes is that good. I know Chiefs fans were saying that they're kind of disappointed in how the offense has been. They're still second in the league in scoring. They're spoiled. But Patrick Mahomes, the second best quarterback in football, in my opinion. I know it's hard to say that, but I just don't think you can put anybody above Russell Wilson. At the beginning of the year, I said I might put Russ up. Now, with the way that Russ has played this year, I really think he's definitely took that step in front of Mahomes. That's not saying anything, though. I would take either one of them in a heartbeat.
Right.
But Mahomes finds ways to beat people. He makes plays that no other QB can make. And that's what makes this Chiefs team so good. Because I think they have a lot of fast players that would be kind of busts on other teams. But Mahomes' play style makes them good. Because a lot of those guys that are super fast, They one-hit wonder in the league. And they don't do much other than street patterns. So Mahomes has done a real good job with the way he can run, the way that he can throw out of certain situations, stuff like that, to make a lot of these guys good. So that's a reason why I can't ever bet against Mahomes, because he just doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. Other than he puts ketchup on a steak. That's a huge weakness. You get rid of that. Stop putting that in commercials, too. I don't want to see that.
He had so much on
it. I know. But, yeah, Chiefs, especially at home. So, all right, Detroit, Minnesota. This game earlier today got really easy for me to pick. Okay, Stafford got put on the COVID list. Come to find out, later as we progress, he was on the COVID list technically early enough with contact with this guy. He can technically play on Sunday if he tests negative on Sunday. So that game has been a roller coaster all day. Doesn't change my pick any, but it would have made it 10 times easier. I'm still going to take the Vikings, even though they'll probably have Stafford. It's because the Vikings are going to feel super confident now. They just beat their biggest rival in their own house. The Packers never lose in Lambeau. That's been one of the hardest places to play. You don't beat the Packers in Green Bay. They did it, and they did it with ease. Okay, I know it was only a 6-point game, but there was no point in time where the Vikings ever worried about the outcome of that game. Dalvin Cook, you can't stop Detroit's run defense. If the Packers can't stop them, Detroit's in for a long day. And even if they do focus their entire defensive strategy on stopping Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins is going to throw the ball to Jefferson and Thielen all day, all over them. Okay, they still have those guys. So I know people forgot about them because of last week and how Dalvin Cook ran, but there's no way they're going to be able to shut down this offense. I know the Vikings defense is kind of suspect or whatever. They're probably not going to shut down the Lions offense, but they are without Kenny Galladay, and that's huge. So Quentin Cephas is not going to fill in for Kenny Galladay. I'm not saying he's a bust by any means or anything like that, but you don't replace a guy like Galladay, and that could be a key factor here to them not being able to score with the Vikings. So at home, a team that just beat their rival, fighting to stay in a playoff contention. Kyle Rudolph said that they won't lose another game all year. And it's Kirk-Vember, baby. We don't lose in Kirk-Vember. Okay? So, Kirk-Vember's real. 1-0. Vikings take this one.
Yeah, I have Vikings too. I made my pick as I saw that Stafford wasn't going to be playing, and I didn't really want to change it after seeing the news that he might. I don't think that Stafford is going to play based off that loss that they took last week with Indy. I think that puts Detroit in a really interesting scenario where they're still on the outside looking in. If they would have beat Indy, they would have been right in the pack for that 7th wild card spot. I think that the door is starting to close on them. You're not in the NFC East, so you got to have a really good record to make the playoffs in the NFC. And if Galladay's not playing, that really hurts Detroit's chances to win anyway. I wouldn't take the risk with Stafford. Have him come back next week if he clears the. Well, he might not, if he's positive, then he's not playing next week either. But just we'll see what happens with Stafford. I don't know if he's sick or not.
He's not sick. He was in contact with somebody who was sick. That's why he gets the 5 window instead of 2 weeks.
Right, but I don't know if it's in. I don't know how he's going to test. But I don't think either team really has much to play for right now. But the Vikings are hot. So I'm going to give it to the Vikings.
Okay, the Vikings have a lot to play for because they're not losing another game. They're going to be 11-5, and they're going to win the division. Okay, I just said it right now. NFC North champs.
Well, keep picking the Vikings, and I'll win the pick. Without Galladay, they lose this game.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I don't think they can score with the Vikings offense without Galladay. With Galladay, I think it could have been very close.
Yes, it would have been a very interesting game.
But they can't stop. They can't stop it. Like I said before, I know, Jordan, you missed my take on it, but pretty much I said if they want to load the box and try to stop Dalvin Cook, they can, but then they'll just torch him in the air with Jefferson and Thielen. If they try to stop Jefferson and Thielen, Cook's going to run for 200 yards. Anybody know if Biden could play corner? Jesus, you guys are that desperate? 70-year-old presidential candidate to play corner?
He's like 78.
Jesus.
No, he probably can't. He can't even formulate a sentence. So we
no politics.
Giants at Washington.
The who cares game of the week.
So, on paper, this game doesn't, for most fans, most people that watch football, this game doesn't look like it's anything. It's just two trash teams playing two trash teams. But this game has a huge, significant role in how the playoffs are going to shape out. Because I think it's really a two-team race for the playoffs. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be competing anytime this season. But you have one team that keeps on finding ways to lose. You have one team that is trying to go in the right direction is going to win. I have the Washington football team pulling this game out. I think it's going to be between Washington and Philadelphia who's going to end up winning that division. Washington has a lot better defense than what the Giants have. I got to give it to Washington.
We don't care, Jordan, but we can't skip a game. We don't care either.
Hopefully both teams lose.
Yeah, tie. Yeah, I took Washington as well. They're at home. They lost to the Giants already by 1 point. I think that's not sitting well with them. Washington has the best shot of challenging Philly in the division, especially since they have a victory over Philly. Mm-hmm. So I think they have more to play for than the Giants. I don't think the Giants believe that they really have a chance, despite them only being like a game and a half back. If they would have beat Tampa, though, I think this game would be different.
How did that taste, Brown? How did what taste?
I think maybe losing to Washington.
Oh, yeah, that sucked, but we're going to win the division.
But, yeah, I just think they have more to play for. Kyle Allen's actually playing decent football now after his first game where he got benched for Alex Smith. I think maybe he learned that he's got a really short leash, so he can't be making stupid plays out there. So I don't have a lot to say about this game. I just think Washington's just got a tad bit more talent than the Giants do, and they look like they're trying. They have a lot of heart. They look like where the Giants just are like, we're there. Oh shoot! There's 30 seconds left. Go ahead and win. Like
the Giants settle for field goals and giving up on drives way too easily.
They do.
It's mostly because they're having to say Washington can win the division. They can. They've won it in recent memory too with RG3. But
it was so long ago actually. But
wasn't
it was 9 years ago.
Was it really that?
Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem like that long ago.
Washington. I think a lot of it is because Joe Judge is a special teams coach, so he understands the importance of field goals in football games. But he runs that offense so conservative once they get in the opponent's territory, and they give up on it. If it's second and long, they give up on the drive, and they just try to take the three instead of trying to go down the field. So with that, I think Ron Rivera is a lot more riskier. Riverboat Ron is going to win this game. Make the division race close with Philly.
Okay. Houston at Jacksonville.
Someone's got to win.
Jacksonville's. I've said this already. Jacksonville's not winning another game. It's not because I believe in Houston. It's because I just don't believe in Jacksonville. Deshaun Watson is good enough himself to beat Jacksonville, and I know that they don't have a lot of help, but.
Sore is Dalvin Cook's back from carrying the team.
I mean, it's not sore at all because then he didn't have to do anything that was devastating. The Packers left holes open like. So, anyways, focus on your team winning since they're on a 2-game lose streak now. Where was I? Oh yeah, Deshaun Watson's good enough to beat this team by himself. I really don't see that much in Jacksonville. I feel bad for them, and I think they're starting that rookie, aren't they? I don't even remember what the hell his name is, dude.
I thought that they were starting Mike Glennon.
No, I got a notification last Sunday, actually Sunday morning before the games, that they were going to start the rookie.
Oh, rip.
Yeah. Good luck. I don't even know who the guy is, so that was the first time I'd actually seen his name.
F in the chat, boys.
So yeah, Houston will win. That's Houston's only win on the season's against Jacksonville. So just double it up.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. That both teams were bad, but one team's a little less bad. So I'm gonna go to Houston. Watson's gonna win this game. Will Fuller's gonna have a great game. The Rook is starting. Oh yeah, so there's no hope for Jacksonville.
I thought they said the Rock was starting too. I was like, oh shit,
changing the bet. All right. So yeah, I have Houston. Next game we have Raiders versus Chargers.
This will be a fun game to watch.
All right. I am never... So, Dylan, if you ever see this, for the rest of the season, I'm not picking the Chargers to win another game. I will... I don't care who they face. They could face Dallas Cowboys. They're not going to, but I would still pick the Cowboys over the Chargers after that bullshit of a performance that I saw from them. There's been 3 straight weeks where they have led by 17 points in the fourth quarter, and they've lost. There's no hope this year for the Chargers. The Raiders look like they're going the right direction.
Raiders had a big win.
Fire Gus Bradley, get some help on that defense because Herbert is doing all the right things. But man, he can't do it alone. That defense needs to not set the game up for a loss.
Herbert's got to play better in the fourth quarter. I got to say that. As good as he looks, he does not play well in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Raiders. I think the Chargers are an exciting team to watch, but like not the good kind of exciting. What do you say?
It's terrible because I want to pick the Chargers to win every game, and they just continue to underachieve. Yeah, they shoot themselves in the foot every game.
That's what I'm saying. They're an exciting team to watch, but not the good kind of exciting. Like the good kind of exciting for like me and Brent because we're not Chargers fans, right? But the bad kind of exciting for guys like Dylan who like want them to win, and then they just disappoint you. It's like watching the Lions, dude. Like Jordan was all about that, right? Lead in the fourth quarter, and they just let the foot off the gas, and the team comes back and wins. It's almost like an exact replica, almost. Like so. I just don't know. I can't pick them. Gruden's got the Raiders going in the right direction. They just had a huge win over Cleveland this week. The Raiders have now beaten. If you look at the teams the Raiders have beaten this year, they can beat anybody. They have the ability to beat anybody. The where it's going to come into, I think, when they get to the playoffs, inexperience and being young is going to hurt them. But they absolutely have the ability to beat everybody. They've beaten Carolina. I know that doesn't seem like that big of a win, but they beat Carolina. They've beaten Kansas City, New Orleans, and Cleveland. Okay, I don't know. 3 of those 4 teams are for sure going to be in the playoffs. Okay, so those are the type of teams that the Raiders are beating. And then they damn near had the Bucks by the ass too, and then let that game slip away with like 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So they played them tough too. This Raiders team is good. They're heading in the right direction. The Chargers still have no idea what's going on. I keep sticking up for Anthony Lynn, but at some point in time I'm going to have to put my foot down here and say you're part of the problem. Right now, I say fire Gus Bradley and see where the team goes from there before you pull the trigger on Lynn.
Yeah.
Because Lynn's characteristics look like a good coach. So I don't want to throw him under the bus too early. But at some point in time, as the head coach, it's going to fall back on you. So you got to start learning how to win these games. So we'll see where it goes, but I can't bet against the Raiders here. Gruden's got that team going in the right direction. Pittsburgh at Dallas. This isn't even a contest anymore. I feel bad for Ben DiNucci because he's already benched. And he didn't even get a shot. but Garrett Gilbert and Cooper...
How'd that LT?
Garrett Gilbert and Cooper Rush are competing for the starting job. They haven't announced which guy's going to start yet. Does it really matter? We got the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm waiting for you to talk about this game because I know you got some crow to eat. You got the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers that coming in here. They're going to tear them up. They're going to win this game by 30-plus points. It's not even going to be close. Pittsburgh dismantles Dallas in Dallas.
All right, so guess I got to say a little bit of positiveness for the Steelers. Before that, though, I was not entirely sold on that victory over the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, jeez.
If Lamar completes that pass, they lose the football game.
But he didn't.
Yeah, but it was this close.
But Minka said, nuh-uh.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they shouldn't have been in a position where a Lamar that does not look like last year's Lamar is taking it down to the very last play of the game. With that being said, now that I got that up, the Steelers have no reason for anybody not to call them the best team in football. They are undefeated. They've beaten bad teams, they've beaten mediocre teams, and now they've beaten good teams. It doesn't matter who they face. They have a good game plan for them. and nobody seems to have a game plan for what the Steelers are doing. They're not changing their game plan up, like hardly at all, and they're still winning football games. Big Ben, he's looked good, he's looked bad, but no matter what, they still win. So there's nothing that I can say that can discredit the Steelers at this point. I'm waiting for that first loss, though, because it's coming.
Can I interject for just a second?
What's up?
I want to say one thing, because there was, for the last 2 years, there were people coming for Mike Tomlin's head.
I guess a great head coach.
Stop that. I don't ever want to hear that again. For as long as Mike Tomlin is in the league, I never want to hear that again.
Yeah, I don't understand where it would even come from, because last year you lose Big Ben in week 1, and you're still, week 17, you have the chance to make the playoffs with a guy that half of his head is caved in. Like, the dude was missing half of his head, and he almost got you to the playoffs. Yeah, it would have been a one and done probably, but just the resiliency of that team. They can overcome anything. And they have, it might be a little early to say this, but do they have DK Metcalf 2.0 and Chase Claypool? He is looking elite and a lot of people passed him, but I don't think he went until the 3rd round. Maybe even 4th round. I think it's 3rd round, though.
He's going to wind up being the second most producing rookie wide receiver this year because Dak went down.
Oh, I thought, Jalen Reagor's going to set the records. And so,
Justin Jefferson is going to...
I don't see how there's any way that the Steelers don't put up 40 points on the Cowboys. The Eagles put up 23, and they were missing almost their entire roster still. So, Cowboys, keep doing you, man. Like, be all you can be, brother.
Tank for Trevor. You don't want to pay Dak, right? Like, so.
Tank for Trey.
No, don't say that.
All right. We got Miami Dolphins at Arizona. So, I also need to eat a little bit of crow, kind of. I had the Rams just mopping Miami up last week. Claypool is a monster. We may look back and ends up... Yeah, so I picked up Claypool in my fantasy league with the very last pick, and he wasn't really involved in the offense first 2 weeks, so I cut him. And now he looks monster.
I don't know, Tyler.
It's probably like 31.
A lot.
They probably don't even have one yet. It's probably going to look like a college show. But, so, I said that the Rams were going to completely destroy Miami. Tua was going to face Aaron Donald. And Tua's first snap, Aaron Donald strip sacked him. And I was like, oh, this is going to get ugly. But then Jared Goff just looked terrible. He had 4 turnovers in the first half. 2 of them resulted in touchdowns, and then a special teams touchdown. Tua didn't really look that good in his first performance.
Expected though.
Yeah, but he didn't lose him the game, and the game was never even within worry of losing the game. I don't even think he had 100 yards passed.
He did 93.
But he didn't turn the ball over very much. He turned the first snap.
That's it.
Yeah, but even with that being said, I wasn't. You can't expect repeat performances out of your defense like that. Out of here, come on, man.
Yeah, no, defense and special teams won them that game.
And Kyler Murray is not Jared Goff. Kyler Murray runs around. He's gonna get around that defense. That offense is hurt right now. Myles Gaskin is gonna miss significant time with an MCL sprain. And Arizona's hot. They went into the bye week after knocking off Seattle. And I don't see them slowing down. They got good energy right now. I have Arizona win this football game.
Yeah, Jordan, I know you put that in the chat just to fire me up. Because you know Claypool ain't going to be the best in the draft. The Vikings chose the best player in the draft. That's Justin Jefferson. And that's a fact, Jack. Next, Miami looked like the luckiest team in football last week. And combine that with Jared Goff's bad performance, you're going to get some of those performances from Jared Goff. Sometimes he's going to light it up, sometimes he's not, and that was one of the ones he's not. He's very famous for being very inconsistent. He's really good or really bad usually. So, Tua didn't have to do much. I still think it was a mistake to pull Fitz, and you're going to find it out this week, because Tua's going to go out there and need to score because he didn't have to score against the Rams. Everybody else was scoring, and the Rams were not scoring. Yeah, Justin Jefferson is Megatron 2.0.
So,
that is so kind.
Let me play devil's advocate here. Do the Dolphins have that defensive performance if they're not playing for Tua in that game and playing with a little bit extra tenacity?
I think they do, just because like the defense, the strip sack, okay, was a clean. Nobody picked up the linebacker. I don't think it mattered who was quarterback. He was going to do it anyway.
Right.
He came through clean. The Rams running back ran right past the guy and didn't even attempt to block him. I know he's supposed to be on a pass, but if you see a linebacker coming straight for your QB, stop and pick it up.
Going forward, does Brian Flores have Sean McVay's number? This is twice where he's completely dismantled the Rams offense. Once in the Super Bowl, and their only other time that they've met since.
Yeah.
Does he know how to stop Sean McVay? And if he does, what can teams do to slow McVay down? Because there's not very many people that know how to slow the Rams down.
I would say just study tapes of what these teams are doing. Study tapes of what the Patriots did in that Super Bowl. Study tapes of what the Bears did that same year.
Yeah.
Because the Bears held them to, 6 points that year?
Something like that.
And it was like the only team who had slowed the Rams down all year. Watch what the Dolphins did. The Rams still had 400-some yards of offense. I would more watch the Bears and the Patriots game tapes before I'd watch the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They didn't really slow them down more than Jared Goff made some mistakes that really put them out of the conversation. But Fitz should still be the quarterback. You're going to see Tua have to score in this game, and you're going to see him not be able to do that right away. I really think Tua should have sat for the year. I'm not trying to say Tua is going to be a bust by any means. I just think he would have benefited sitting behind a guy like Fitz. Arizona's going to win this game. They score too many points. Kyler looks really good. He looks like most quarterbacks have a sophomore slump. Very, very common. Drew Brees wasn't good his second year. Tom Brady wasn't very good his second year. These are, second year starting. Technically, it was Tom Brady's third year. But you know what I mean? Like, these are things that happen normally. Kyler Murray's took the next step instead. He's been that guy that took a step forward and really looks like the real deal. I think the Arizona offense is too much. So, got the Cardinals in that game.
All right.
The next game.
Oh, this is the marquee matchup of the season, or of the week.
All right. New Orleans at Tampa. Okay, this game was hard to pick. Nagy has stopped me. Yeah, I brought that up. This game was hard to pick. Man, these two teams are so good. Earlier in the season, the Saints didn't look good. They had a big win over Tampa, and then they really looked sloppy, but they look better now. I don't know if Michael Thomas is going to play. Is he going to play?
It's not looking like
Not looking like it? Okay. Well, they've done it without him all year. So, I'm
sticking with my claim that Kyler Murray will end up being MVP. Tim, that's a really reasonable option, but I just don't think it's going to happen this year.
Wait, this year? Is he talking about this year or some point? Because at some point he will be, but
this year.
There's no way. He could play lights out for the next 8 games. He's not going to beat out Russ for the MVP. Not going to happen. Russ would have to completely melt down.
Or have an injury.
Or get injured, right? And then he would still have to, the same thing would have to happen to Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
And Patrick
Mahomes, potentially. So, like, he's got really no shot.
No Thomas, no win. Oh.
This game's going to be very close, okay? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I picked the Saints because I don't like Tom Brady. And this is one that I could pick and possibly win and not feel bad about, okay? But this game could literally go either way. Both teams got things going in their favor. Antonio Brown, I don't know how this is. If they're going to beat him, it's going to be in his first game because he's going to be less involved now, just getting there. I think Drew Brees can outduel Tom Brady, but I also think Tom Brady can outduel Drew Brees. It really just, I don't have a lot to say about how this game could go either way because it just, man, these teams are just both so good. And last time New Orleans won, and so that's why I'm sticking with it again.
What Derek Carr, Carson Wentz, what are you saying? Oh, people that were going to win MVP but then got hurt.
Yeah, but Tim, this 4 guys got to get hurt. Like Derek Carr and Carson Wentz,
it's
like that's 2 guys.
Yeah,
you
but
have to double.
It's not like Kyler Murray is in second place for MVP voting right now. He's up in the conversation.
5th or 6th.
But no, he's got a long journey ahead.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
How much would I beat Zach by tomorrow in Madden? Well, I played you once and I put up 73 on you, so I'm not sure.
You lost to me last time.
And you lost to him last time, so I don't know. So, did you get what you were saying about?
Yeah, there's not a lot I can say about it. It's a very even matchup in my opinion.
So I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game. That first game was kind of interesting. People were already saying that Tom Brady was done after that first game, but
Andrew Brees, they said about him too.
Yeah, but what you had in Tom Brady in Week 1, what you have now is a totally different Tom Brady because he's had half of a season to finally click with these players. He finally knows how to get to these guys, and he's already got chemistry with Antonio Brown.
No more Matt stuff. Focus.
So, I think Antonio Brown is going to be plenty active in this first game because Tom Brady vouched for him to come in, same like he did in New England. And yeah, Antonio Brown only played one game in New England, but Tom Brady was forcing the ball to him. It reminded me of like a Randy Moss scenario when Randy Moss first came there. And so I think this is going to be the revenge game. And with all the injuries that are, I know that Drew Brees is going to play, but Kamara's hurt now, and Michael Thomas, he's got some sand somewhere that he needs to blow out because he's just being pushed at this point. I don't think that the Saints are going to be able to match up with all the weapons. I think Emmanuel Sanders is still on the COVID list.
I don't think so. Not anymore. He's been 2 weeks already.
Has he been cleared now?
Yeah, I think after they said they were expecting him back week 9.
Okay, well, I don't think Emmanuel Sanders and Alvin Kamara are going to be enough for Mike Evans, Rojo, Leonard Fournette, Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, and the real secret weapon on that team, Scotty Mitchell.
Miller?
Yeah, he's so bad.
Real good weapon.
So bad I can't even remember his name. But Scotty
was a quarterback for the Lions.
Scotty doesn't know that he's going to be a huge impact in this game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game 34-23.
Damn, we have a double digit?
Yes.
I have this game coming down to the last second possession.
I just don't think the Saints line up great. The actual game of the week, you have former MVP Cam Newton lining up against Adam Gase and the Gang Green. Oh, I can't even hype this game up. This is trash.
Who put this on the slate?
I can't pick the Jets in good taste just because they're the Jets. They're not going to win. And I don't even think the Patriots right this ship here to win the game. I think the Patriots somebody's going to win this game. Both teams aren't very good right now. Patriots win it. They get their third win on the season. It's going to be, I don't even want to watch it.
I'm going to watch it reluctantly, unfortunately, because I just do that. I hate myself for it, but I'm going to. Cam might get his first passing touchdown in like a month and a half.
Yeah, it might happen. Hopefully it's to Jacoby
Myers,
because I just picked him up on fantasy.
But I'm telling you, this is not going to be a good game, and I think the Patriots will win, but it's going to be sloppy. Like, the Patriots not going to blow them out 41-0. I'm telling you, like, it's going to be sloppy. And I think that's why Bill Belichick said the other day that the Jets are better than they were last year, even though everyone knows it's not true because he does not confident in his team, and he's afraid if he goes out there and lays a fucking goose egg to the goddamn Jets and loses, he wants to be like, well, they were better than they were last year. No, they're not. I don't think that'll happen, but he was using like a safe code because he doesn't believe in his own team.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bad game. I'm just going to say I think Jets are the worst team I've ever seen, and that's the only reason why I'm picking the Patriots. Like, the only reason why. Because I would not pick the Patriots against hardly anybody right now. So, they're just another team that is starting to find ways to lose, and that's not Patriot-like. And before I call Bill Belichick completely, like, carried by Tom Brady, I do want to give him a chance to next year to try to right the ship real quick, because it would be really early to pull that, but... it's looking like Brady didn't need Belichick, like some of you said. I always said Brady was a system QB, but I've always given him credit that I still thought he was a great QB. So I'm not shocked to see he's finding success in Tampa. But is Bill Belichick not as good as I thought he was, though? We'll find out next year. But he'll beat the Jets, so that's something. That's all we got for you guys today. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. We'll see you guys next week.